Not reflect that of the staff and management of WNOV and W293 CX 106.5 FM Courier Communications Milwaukee, but are the sole comments of the host and guest of this particular show.
We got some blockbuster moves, all type of things going on and across Milwaukee on the sports tip. Just having a good conversation with the guys and the gal here. Shout out to our guest that we're about to introduce. But we are on Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices, 860 WNOV 106.5 FM. Brian Sanders here, back with the crew again. The co-host.
Co-host, that's me, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right, Joe Dray, Policy Director for Wisconsin Voices. Happy Tuesday, everyone.
Man, how you doing, Joe?
All doing fantastic, man. The weather, the sun shines out. It's nice and warm. It's summertime in Milwaukee, and I am happy.
You're always telling folks, you got to get outside. You got to enjoy your city. You got to get out there and take advantage of the things that you are paying for.
That's right. That's right.
You are paying.
The beer
garden. Right, look at you beer garden. Live music, right, the trails, the parks, all that stuff that we're doing. Get out here and be nosy. Y'all already nosy, sitting from the house anyway, looking out the window, seeing what's going on the block. Go outside, hit one of them parks, hop in that car, go to somewhere that you ain't been before. Look at the park, scroll.
There's a lake right over here.
It's a lake.
I mean, a beautiful lake.
A big lake. And we take advantage of it, but I think people don't really be going into some of these parks like they supposed to. You know, you paying for these parks, the county, you know, they getting you with the county tax, sales taxes, and all types of taxes. You might as well go ahead and hit them. Hey, look, and then Milwaukee pays for everybody else across the state, so you might as well drive up north, hit a park somewhere, go sit in a park, read the newspaper 20, 30 minutes away from your house, just because you paying for it. So yours is? Yeah, see, look, that's real. And look, there you go. He just told you right there. He just said he just went up 1K on property tax. So I know a lot of y'all have been talking about y'all property taxes too, but hearing it from other family members. But we got some guests in the building. I want them to introduce themselves and the organization they come from. And shout out to them for, you know, sticking up and coming through. We always love to get our guests back second time. And we got a new person too. So go ahead. Whoever wants to go first.
Sure, I'll kick it off. So I'm Dan Cross from Revitalize Milwaukee. I am the construction and lead specialist.
And I'm Elizabeth Shoyers. I am the Healthy Homes Coordinator here at Revitalize Milwaukee. Get to run a asthma safe homes program, some lead abatement with Dan over here.
Okay. Nice. Well, thank y'all for coming to the studio. Now, it seems like y'all been busy. Every time I talk to Mr. Cross over here, he's on the move doing some things. And I haven't, I've been hearing your name in the mix, when I'm talking to him. It seems like y'all always got some type of project stuff going on. So I would love to hear what y'all, what's going on in y'all neck of the woods and, what the community needs to know. So
yeah, definitely. So I'm actually gonna kick it off to Liz.
Okay.
We came in just give let the community know about our Zilber program.
Okay.
And it's a critical repair program for home modifications and roofing. So I'm gonna allow Liz to go ahead and give everyone the information on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks everybody. So in the Zilber Family Foundation, they give out grants to a lot of different orgs in the city. We're very grateful to Zilber for their partnership over the years. For Revitalize, I think it's been like 8 years that they've been partnering with us. And Zilber, how it works in the philanthropy business around here is that they choose certain neighborhoods that they want to fund and they want to invest in so that they can see the results in a concentrated way in their neighborhoods. And so the Zilber neighborhoods where we can do this special critical repair, especially roofing program in Zilber neighborhoods, is happening in Lindsay Heights on the north side, And then on the south side, we've got Clark Square neighborhood.
Okay.
And then we've got Layton Boulevard, Burnham Park, and Silver City. Those are all on the south side.
Okay. Nice. So when it comes to these programs, is there a way for the folks in these areas to, like is there some way for them to be aware? Is it something you have to hop on like early to get a part of this program or some of these developments? Or is it something that like just say like, if I lived in the Lindsay Heights area, would I have to like sign up for this program, months ago, last year, 2 years ago, or how do people get more involved with that? With them?
Yeah, definitely. So we do have an application process. And with that, all you have to do is just contact Revitalize Milwaukee. You can actually go to our website at revitalizemilwaukee.org or at freehomerepairs.org. As I stated, there is an application process for that. One being that you must be within the Zilber neighborhood. Another is that your home must not be in foreclosure or bankruptcy.
Okay.
But for more information, all they need to do is go to revitalize.org or freehomerepairs.org, or they can call our office at 414-360-6155. And again, it's 414-360-6155.
Nice. Thank you.
I'm sorry, 6115.
6115. All right, yeah. Say it to him one more time, please.
Yeah, no problem. 414-360-6115.
Okay, yeah. So I know like we don't get Revitalized in here that much. So we want to know, more. What you got for us?
Yeah. So as Dan was saying, come to us at Revitalize. We want to help you get across the finish line with your application.
Okay.
That's so important to us because for some people out here, it's hard. You got to get our application and supporting documents. And the quicker you get those supporting documents into us, the faster that your application will be processed. So when you're saying, should we be in here last week? Yes, be in here yesterday. We're ready. We're ready. We're especially ready to process roofs really fast. We have a really great contractor who's on it.
Nice.
We also have some really amazing partners in the Zilber neighborhoods whom we work with. So if you're in one of these neighborhoods and you're aware of these organizations I'm about to mention, please go hit them up and contact them and ask them if there's any way that they could help potentially fill out an application or to contact us as well, just in case, maybe you trust the partners more because you know them on the ground in your neighborhood, right? So in Lindsay Heights, we're really connected to Walnut Way and the NID 12 that's there, the Neighborhood Improvement District.
Okay.
And then in Clark Square, there's Clark Square Neighborhood Initiative. So we want to shout out to all of them. And then for the other three neighborhoods, which equal the Layton Boulevard West neighborhoods, reach out to VIA CDC. That's VIA CDC. They're all really great partners on the ground with us. And we do a lot of outreach events. So if you see us in the neighborhoods tabling, we have our green tablecloth. We're ready. We're there. We're more than happy to help you. And also are really happy to help you like set up an appointment with us to come into our office. Shonda and Angel are great. They're our coworkers. They'll help you fill out the applications and get the help with the supporting documents that you need.
I like that. Yeah, that's the biggest part. I think the biggest thing every time with applications and folks feeling like they're not going to get the support is because, they don't like going through application processes. I think that's what holds everybody back. It's man, I don't want to do the paperwork. The paperwork. Is it the paperwork that y'all see that people all the time?
All the time.
Yeah.
As usually they're like, I don't want to fill this in or bring this document in, but it's like it's there for a reason. You know, like one,
checks and balances all day, right?
Checks and balances, and just to make sure you actually gonna follow through.
Yeah, for sure.
It,
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, I mean, shoot, you think all the time, and it'd be little things like, man, just do this form and fill this out, and then they're gonna clear out whatever you wait, I gotta do what? We don't feel like doing, It's a natural thing. Joe, you got something for him?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask
Joe, this your lane too, man. From your past
economic development.
Yeah, Joe's like, what? Hold on, Joe eyes. I like that. Go ahead, Joe. It's your form.
No, I mean, just for the folks out there that don't know the process, what's kind of the timeline, and maybe walk us through some of the process, from the time that say, hey, I need my roof redone. I'm going to reach out to Revitalize Milwaukee. What's that look like? What am I going to have to do on my part? You mentioned supporting documents, but is there anything else that, that maybe listeners out there need to know?
So the moment somebody calls in to Revitalize, you're going to get connected right away with Angel or Shonda. One of them will take your call and you can ask any kind of questions that you have at that time. If you're eligible, if you think that Revitalize and the programs that we offer are a good fit for you.
Mm-hmm.
We also, as a side note, offer our critical repair program in all of Milwaukee and Waukesha counties. For everyone else who's listening in, thank you as well. And you can feel free to call us and contact us as well. But today we're just focusing on what we offer in the Zilber neighborhood. So yes, they will take your questions, see if you're a good fit and which application we should send out to you. So then it's about a 3 to 4 page application. It's pretty simple. A lot of just checking yes or no boxes. Are you in the military? Does anybody rent in your duplex, etc., things like that. And then the supporting documents that are needed. This is where it becomes difficult for people. And we want to acknowledge that if they don't know our name, if they don't have this trust built with us, we recognize trust is the most important piece, right? So building that trust, we want to show we're here. Revitalize is real. This is not a scam. And we have to provide these supporting documents to our funders. Okay. So they ask for 3 months of bank statements. And in that, we also need an award letter to show your income that's coming in. So that could be from Social Security, your pension, your job, from Uber. We just want to see that award letter so that we see that it's current and that's what's going on. We also ask for your mortgage if you're still currently paying a mortgage. And we look up to see if you're current or on a payment plan with your property taxes for the city of Milwaukee, right? The other piece that's required is a 1 month statement from We Energy. So your last month's We Energy bill. This is not to see if you are up to date on your We Energy bill. This is to help, because if we see your We Energy bill is coming in high at all for the season, then we can send a referral out to Green Homeowners United, which is our really good contractor, and they could do a free energy assessment, and they could potentially provide attic basement insulation, new electrical panel, a heat pump that could set you up with air conditioning, those kind of things, right? So those are the supporting documents that's needed. You'll see what's eligible on the application as well. It shows on the application how you can submit to us, how you can set up an appointment with us, or we can even do a house visit. If you want us to come out to do a house visit, we will come out and help you with the application. Then after that, it kicks over to our construction specialist. So you get stamped that you're approved with the application. And then Shonda is going to set up that home visit with either Ron or Christian. And then they go out, do the home visit, and they assess the house and they write the scope of work. Then it gets assigned to a contractor. The contractor schedules with the client directly, and then they do the work. They go out and get that work done. It's even easier with roofing because all Ron has to do is drive past the house, take a couple pictures of the outside, and then send it right away to All Seasons or whoever is our roofing contractor. So, the process just goes as fast as the contractors move, as fast as people want to get their docs in.
Exactly.
Okay. That's real.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's some of the work that when I talk to you sometime, you be in the mix. I see you be in the field doing some things as well. So are you you do visits? Do you do stuff in that space too, where you go through, or
So I'm not tied to the Zilber program.
Okay.
I'm on the ARPA and LSHIP, which is lead abatement, and the severe asthma program, ASHIP-B.
Okay. How's that been going so far? I know it's been a few months since we had you in.
It's been amazing. We're getting close to closing out some things and everything. So we just keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But the program's supposed to be starting up again. So if you got kids with asthma, please go get them tested because health services does have a great program and a severe asthma program that will come. Doesn't matter if you're a homeowner or a renter. That will come and offer repairs for anything that is considered a trigger of your child's asthma. And then, with everything going on with around the city, please, if you living in a home that is older than 1979, 78, please go get your child tested for lead. 9 times out of 10, that home is assumed to have some kind of lead in there. Please go get them tested because Department of Health does have MHD, Milwaukee Health Department. They do have a great lead program, and they're partnered with MPS schools. So if your kid is attending an MPS school, they have free lead screening for the child and the family.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. The time we still got about 7 minutes or so, which yeah, give or take. What have you learned, or what have y'all learned since like doing the lead work, and what have y'all seen out in the field? That you can share with some of the, I guess some of the eye-opening things. And I would love to hear some of that because I know, in this work, I know you see some things that like, man, woo.
I see a lot of things uplifting
Yeah.
and disheartening.
Yeah.
But my main thing is that Milwaukee just needs to be informed.
Yeah.
And that's where you have nonprofits like Revitalize Milwaukee. That's what we're trying to do, is just inform its residents, and specifically its homeowners. We know that in this climate, with things going on financially, politically, it is things are getting tight and everything. But you just want residents to know throughout all of Milwaukee County and Waukesha County, know that we're here to assist. And I know that it might seem like it's a lot of stuff going on, and a lot to do when it comes to this application process. But a lot of times, in order to achieve certain things, we got to go through some things. So all we ask is that help us help you, and just know that we are partnering both with the county, the city, to get things done and to help other people. So we're just trying to put the word out there, and because a lot of people don't know all these things do exist, or they become discouraged. One thing also to our Brown community to know that if you do have a language barrier, we do have translation. So we do have community outreach specialists that will work with you, that will be able to translate our applications for you. And if you have any information that you want to relay to us, Liz also speaks Spanish too a little bit, so
hey, it helps when everybody.
She loves to
Don't
practice,
put me out there like that.
but she loves to practice. But
now you're gonna have them pulling up on you. You're gonna have to go over there and have to really. What's that program? What's that program? Right. What's that program that they use? Is it Dragonfly, or what's the program? It's the translation program.
I'm not even sure. I know it's a few. I use Google and Apple, so
yeah, you get it, right. And they got all these new live translating stuff that you can buy now. The game is changing, so
So now everybody knows Spanish.
Yeah.
Right.
All you gotta do is stick a headphone in your ear these days.
I know Spanglish. That's it.
Look, definitely. All right,
and
cool.
I'm always making up a Spanish word.
Oh, look. No, don't do that. Don't do that. You sound like the Don King of Spanish.
Oh yeah, totally.
Dude, stay making up a word.
I was watching Saturday Night Live, and they were doing a skit with the two comedians, like two guys that speak Spanish, Puerto Rican guys that speak Spanish. Bad Bunny was on it.
Oh yeah.
And they were talking back and forth like real extravagant in Spanish, but the whole conversation was them becoming buddies. But the women didn't know that because they didn't speak Spanish, so they thought they were arguing.
Oh yeah, with the dialect. Yeah. All right. So yeah, thank y'all, and I like that y'all have different areas that y'all can help folks, and y'all pulling up on people. That helps a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If you need help with anything within your home, please call us, because it might be something we can help you with, and not only that, there might be some other resources out there we could point you to, to assist you as well.
All right. Cool. All right,
yeah, that's awesome. We talk so much about investing back into the community, especially up here on the north end, and different, just different places that are so underrepresented and haven't historically seen those investments. So great job, guys. You know what you guys do. You're helping give people safe and nice homes, and making their places somewhere nice to be, and feeling at home.
Yeah, we're in a housing crisis.
Right. Home is where the heart is, and y'all taking stress off of people's lives. You know what I'm saying? It take a lot of work to do that, but what y'all doing, I mean, it's just like, any of the work I've done has made an impact. If I help a person get back to a job, if I help a person get a resume that can lead them, that one person. So y'all helping them one individual. Y'all got plans across the country, across the city is great. Now I'm already shooting for y'all across the country.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, right. So I know. Yeah, look, I like to speak things in fruition for sure. I guess it's time for break. Y'all got anything else y'all need to wrap up?
Yeah, man. Please do remember visit revitalizemilwaukee.org or freehomerepairs.org.
Okay. Anything else from you?
Thank you. I just want to say thank you all for having us out here.
Yeah.
I just want to stress again that Revitalize is here. We're here for you. This is real. And I know it's so important that we need each other and we
Absolutely.
need social support. So
Yeah.
if you need social support, reach out to the partners I mentioned. Also reach out to us because we really want to support you in getting this application process done and helping you feel like you are supported as you walk through maybe stressful times.
Oh, appreciate that. We're gonna make sure to
Yeah.
get y'all out, and I hope to have y'all on again in a couple months or so just to hear about the progress. So thank you.
We have a block bill coming up. So
okay, yeah, we'll do that. We'll have y'all back on.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
October.
Yeah, that's perfect. All right, y'all. Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices. We'll be back with our next guest. See y'all in a minute.
Podcast and radio. Get involved today.
860 AM 106.5 FM. WNOV, The Voice.
Welcome back. This is Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices on WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. Just wrapping up. We had some fantastic guests with Revitalize Milwaukee in that last segment. learned a lot about lead and roofs and all the things that they can do for you. So we're going to move on to our next guest here today. Reggie, I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself and who you're with, and we'll dig right into it. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. So tell us your name and a little bit about yourself.
My name is Reginald Bell. I am okay. My name is Reginald Bell. I am a therapist here in the city of Milwaukee. I specialize in mental health and substance abuse. Retired from the Department of Corrections. I was a treatment specialist there.
Okay.
Worked with men who came in on domestic violence charges. So I have some very long roots in trauma-based treatment and theories that I use and I apply with families. Now I'm in private practice. So
Okay. All right. So what inspired you to become a counselor and a specialist? And that's just interesting, even to get into the work into the corrections, what inspired you to do that?
a divine calling.
Okay.
That's all. That's the best I could say it. I think the part that we often neglect is our spiritual aspect. Things that we go through in our lives, it all is designed and have purpose. And as for me, I grew up in a household of domestic violence. And I saw my mom receive great harm. She's gone now, but she received a great deal of harm. And I oftentimes had to rescue her. Little did I know that I was going to become, I was a victim at that time, where then I became a survivor because I started getting therapy. And then I became an advocate. And now I'm on a journey to inspire and teach younger clinicians about this craft.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was outside kicking the guest off the premises. But no, I just sorry I came in a little late, but I want to make sure that we hit you with the proper bio before we get to talking everything else about you. So is that cool? Can
That's
I go
cool.
back a little bit?
Go ahead.
All right, so this is another important guest, y'all. This guy does great work in our community, and we like to highlight the ones we know, the folks that's on the forefront. But it's so many people behind the scenes that don't get the recognition, and that's part of my job of being from Milwaukee, is making sure that we highlighting the folks that don't be in the mix like that, and they still get a platform for themselves, whether it's Be a Voice or whoever else out here doing it. So with that being said, I'm going to introduce Mr. Reginald J. Bell Sr. Today on Be a Voice, we're honored to be joined by someone who's doing powerful and deeply impacted work in Milwaukee County. Mr. Reginald J. Bell Sr. is a licensed professional counselor and certified substance abuse counselor with a long list of credentials. But more importantly, he brings heart, purpose, and cultural understanding to everything he does. He works through culturally diverse counseling and also leads Coming Back Around Consulting Services, LLC, where he specializes in helping individuals overcome addiction and co-occurring disorders. Through a mix of evidence-based practices and real-world compassion, Mr. Bell helps his clients explore the root causes of their addiction, build relationships, regain financial stability, and rediscover their self-worth. He believes that healing isn't just about stopping a behavior, it's about reclaiming your life with dignity, purpose, and power. Mr. Bell, again, welcome to Be a Voice Radio. Yes, I had to make sure we set that out there right, definitely. So, Joe, thank you for starting that up for me. I appreciate it. So I know you talk about your life experiences and what what motivates you to where you are. Can you explain what co-occurring disorders are and why it's important to treat them alongside addiction?
Co-occurring disorders are individuals who not have a mental health disorder, but they have another diagnosed disorder, such as addiction. Addiction is just one. That usually comes from the part of an etiology of mental health, such as trauma, anxiety, depression. Most people don't just go out drinking. They have a reason why they drink.
Yeah.
And when it gets out of control, then it becomes the part of their lives that they're physically connected to a substance that's not supposed to be in their body.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've seen that type of drinking, we know each other's families well, and we've seen the people, you know, from my end and folks that's associated and connected to families, and you know, you got your social drinkers, and then you got the ones like you said that you could, you know, drink a little bit extra because it's the, you know, you may think of it as just the fun, but it's the really trying to drown or try to take away that pain. What, and this question kind of is perfect. This question actually number 4, and then Joe, you could take 1, 5, and 6 after. But what does it mean to you to provide culturally diverse counseling? How does that play a role in the work that you do in Milwaukee? So, you know, Milwaukee is we see so much. I mean, you know, the alcohol, the drugs, we know a lot of that is what fuels a lot of what we see. But I think, yeah, like I said, is how does this, you know, play a role in the work you do?
I no longer work at that location.
Okay.
I'm transitioning right now to another location. Again, my journey is always motivating me to find something greater.
Yeah.
I'm going to another place where I'm going to be working with a man who was my mentor when I first got started.
Yeah.
A good close friend. And he's going to teach me the ins and outs of the business.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to reuniting with a mentor.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
It's like full circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time. Yeah. Yeah.
For real. Yeah. So, how do you define a safe and supportive environment for someone in recovery, and what does that look like in your counseling sessions?
In my counseling sessions, a safe and supportive environment, the first thing I do is I build a rapport. One of the things that I didn't do at the prison when I had men who came in on domestic violence charges, one of the things that I didn't do, I didn't read their report initially. I would have a conversation, not a conversation, a dialogue. I want to make sure I emphasize that because there's a difference between a conversation and a dialogue.
Is this the excuse me for cutting you off, because is this to like not have any biases towards the situations?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It helped me not distinguish any biases. And I would take notes, of course, and then I would match up what they said according to what was in their report. And I think the things that really got me was when there was children involved. That's at times I would have to just go take a short break and walk around the building for a while and calm down because it traumatized me.
Right.
It brought back memories because of how I grew up. So I had to have those emotions regulated.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about those emotions and those feelings and emotions in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Definitely. So what's on you, my guy?
Yeah. So can you walk us through how to create a personalized recovery plan for someone dealing with addiction?
I like to introduce them in like the third session. I try to see where they are with their social networks. Their social networks include their family, the people that they work with, the places where they live, things like that. Because what I want to do is bring in your helpmate. That third session, I want you to introduce me to her verbally. By that 7th session, if they agree to it, I want them to come in. I want her to come in because I want to see who she is. Motivation has 3 things that can influence you. I mean, influence can have motivation, encouragement, and inspiration. But on the other side of that, motivation can manipulate and control. A woman's word can either manipulate and control you, or motivate you, inspire you, or encourage you.
Man, wow, that's deep.
That is.
That's deep. Ooh, I like that. It's back on me, man.
Back on you.
Back on me. That was a great question right there, and great response too. Right there. Appreciate that. Okay. So where we at? We on 6 or 7. We on 6 or 7. I want to hear about these emotions before we get. I think that's the perfect time to talk about the segue into the emotions. You know, because we know the power of the woman, and of course, how having a helpmate is important for the man, of course, because so your focus has been more working with the men lately, right?
No, actually, I'm doing families. I'm doing children.
Okay.
I'm doing adult men.
Okay.
I'm doing families, period, and women.
Yeah.
Again, it's so important to seek after validation in the aspects of vulnerability.
Yeah.
Vulnerability is the catalyst for validation. And when we think about vulnerability, that comes out to our emotion. Under the Dr. Gloria Wilcox model of the feelings wheel, we have 72 feelings. They share the same name as emotions, but there's a lot more emotions. They haven't decided on quite a number for emotions, but the feelings are a great place to start. 72 of those feelings are cognitive based, and emotions are biological. Then we have moods. Moods are a combination of feelings and emotions, and they last longer. So when you infuse substances into your persona or your atmosphere, you are affecting your environment that's around you. And then anybody that's in close proximity of that is going to be affected by that.
Man, and we see so much of that. You talking about domestic violence and how you work the domestic violence unit. I've seen so much when I look at the police logs, because you can see the police call logs.
Yes.
It's so much domestic violence. It's like at a high rate. It's insane. And I'm sure you was. I'm gonna say you were probably swamped down there with work down at the MSDF, correct?
That's what
you were swamped. Yeah. I mean, I even think about a couple brothers I do know that was down there, and they caught themselves up in other cases, but sometimes they would that domestic violence and them domestic situations, once they were on probation, they would be back down at that 24 hour, what is that, 23-hour lockdown?
It's actually it actually can last up to 21 days. When you are convicted already on probation, you have police contact.
Yeah.
Then you have to go for a revocation hearing.
Yeah.
And then in order for you to beat the revocation hearing, you have to take coursework. And you usually came across me or two other of my colleagues that was once there.
Yeah. And I guess that's what I'm getting to, is that the domestic violence in this city, and I know we just been trying to put the an emphasis. You feel like a lot of this is it's fueled by not the alcohol, but the reaction, the chemical reaction with the emotions. That's pretty what we've seen across the city consistently, huh? And is that what you've seen a lot of? Was a lot of reaction between people having a night out, family, domestic violence? Was it pretty much a pattern of that you've seen, or people just it being concentrated within the home, or was it it's a lot of relationship based? And I guess there's a lot of variables in there, but was there
you
certain
mentioned
patterns?
a lot of them.
So it's a lot of variables that just come in there. It wasn't just like a set trend in Milwaukee that you've seen. Okay.
I found myself in a very unique situation working at MSDF because we were the unit and we got men from all over the state.
Okay.
They came in and they looked different. I had American Indian, I had Hmong, I've had Islamic men, I've had African American, I had Caucasian men. And that gave me a unique perspective on how to go about developing plans and treatment for each person. The wonderful thing about working there is when a man reaches the point of getting an epiphany, you have to be able to share with him the common things that he may need to make that transformational change and not continue that behavior that he learned. Because usually
so they get to that point where it's like, okay, I understand it now, but then you have to keep motivating that mindset to stay in that space. Like, okay, you're there now. Now, don't revert back to the old ways. So you have to find so you would be pretty much creating a treatment or a plan for them to keep that epiphany mindset, right?
I work the body is one, that alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
Cleansing the body is very important.
Yeah. So
watching what you eat, detoxing your body from the chemicals and then setting an eating plan, getting the right combination of foods. Sugar is like so dangerous for us right now. But then the other aspect is that soul, that emotion, that reasoning, the way you think. We use that cognitive behavioral therapy approach for that particular area.
Mhm.
Then there's the DBT, which is dealing with the mindfulness,
Okay.
regulating your emotions.
Okay.
Then I use the spiritual side, and the church plays a major role in this. And having some place that you can go, we have to understand what relationships are really what they look like. I like to use that metaphor, a metaphor like trees. Let's take trees. Trees and us, we have a relationship. It's covenant based. That covenant relationship is based on a promise. Now, the promise that the trees have and we have, the trees breathe out oxygen. We breathe out CO2 and we exchange it. Simple as that. That's a covenant relationship.
Unspoken bond.
Unspoken bond. And then we take care of those trees.
Yeah.
They provide us the wood for their shelters.
Well, we're supposed to take care of the trees.
We're supposed to take care of the trees. Exactly. We're commanded to.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Whether we do or not, sometimes you have to question. Back on me, Brian.
Yeah, of course. And then
Oh.
I think we take a break right after that.
Yeah. So, talking about trauma, what role does trauma play in addiction recovery, and how do you help your clients work through it?
Whoo, trauma. Trauma
Mhm.
is those soul wounds, those wounds that are emotionally based. You will get those, and you have to understand where you are. I go back to my childhood and what I witnessed. My stepfather was a very violent man, and he often hurt my mom real bad. I didn't know that was going to affect me later, and it did. But that coursework of getting the treatment and then moving into from a victim to a survivor gave me the opportunity, getting counseling, gave me the opportunity to understand. Little did I know that this was going to be my destiny. Because I didn't want to do this. I ran from this.
So yeah, I mean, it's almost like you have to identify and recognize that you've been exposed to trauma sometimes. And sometimes, like you said, you don't even know that those things at that time, or even as an adult, sometimes looking back, like that was traumatizing.
Right.
And it's not until you take that step back and kind of do that self-reflection, and you're like, that really did have an effect on my life and the outcome.
Sexual assault. I did work when I was at the prison. I was on the at that time it was the Office of Violence Prevention. I was on their committees and some of their boards, and I sat on a few panels. I've seen and heard some horrific incidents, and that's so important because complex trauma can come as a result of that. That's why it's important for us to understand and pray for our police officers. It's very important because they hear and see so much of dysfunction, and they have to come and separate. And
they got to be the peace. They got to be the peace bringers in situations. And sadly, a lot of the police officers aren't properly trained to diffuse situations, but then they're on the scene, especially the young cops, a young person that's still learning how to cope with relationships in their own life. You 23, 24, 25, pulling up to a scene, you even haven't processed this type of situation in your life, and you're asked to diffuse a situation. You're not relatable. So yeah, I pray for I pray for them to make conscious decisions and be wise as well, because they haven't been through the life changes or the life experiences. No matter if you from up north, I think about that too. You don't understand the dynamics of being in black Milwaukee, you know what I'm saying, and coming to deal with black problems and black situations and Latino and brown situations, or even just city situations, So yeah, I got more questions for you. I think this is important. We all need to understand the severity of talking about what's important is mental health and coping with that. So Be a Voice Radio, we met Mr. Reggie Bell, Joe Dray. We'll be back.
AURN News.
I'm Jamie Jackson. Few Americans say they're proud of their country, and it's now the lowest level Gallup has recorded in more than 2 decades. According to a new survey, just 58% of U.S. adults say they are extremely or very proud to be American. That's down 9 points from 2024 and 5 points lower than in 2020. The poll has tracked national pride since 2001. Back then, 87% of Americans expressed strong pride. After the September 11th attacks, that number surged to 90% and stayed high through 2004. But this year's numbers show growing divides, especially along party lines. In fact, Republicans reported the highest level of pride at 92%. Democrats dropped sharply to 36%, and independents hit a new low at 53%. For AURN News, I'm Jamie Jackson.
Here's your updated forecast. We'll see sunny skies here for today with a high in the low 80s. Winds out of the northwest around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then for tonight, mostly clear, low near 65. By Wednesday, a slight chance for showers and thunderstorms here late. Blend of clouds and sunshine develops, high around 85. Thursday, a slight chance for rain showers and storms late. Blend of clouds and sun, high around 83. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on AM 860 The Voice.
Hi, I'm Joe Dray with Wisconsin Voices. Voting is essential, but real democracy happens every day. Wisconsin Voices helps people take action between elections by organizing, educating, and advocating. If you want to do more than just cast a vote, and you want to create real change, this is the place to start. Join the movement for year-round civic power at wisconsinvoices.org.
This is Brian Sanders with Wisconsin Voices. Join me every Monday and Tuesday at 11 a.m. as we break down what's really happening in our communities. From local politics to statewide policy, we're talking civic power, public meetings, voting rights, and how you can hold elected officials accountable. It's not just talk. It's about action, strategy, and building people-powered change. Tune in.
Hey, this is Nisha with Wisconsin Voices. Be a Voice Radio, where your voice matters. Catch us Mondays and Tuesdays at 11 a.m. on WNOV 860 AM. Be heard, be informed, be a voice.
860 AM, 106.5 FM. WNOV, The Voice.
We are back on Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices, WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Thanks for joining us today. We are going to continue our conversation. Brian,
Yes.
you want to continue with the questions?
Yes, let's do it.
All right.
So you use evidence-based practices. Can you share a few examples of what those look like in action?
DBT, I love incorporating methods of DBT. I actually received that training when I was at corrections.
Mhm.
That's the mindfulness.
Okay.
And you're teaching them about their emotions, how to regulate that through those kind of practices. And breathing is so important. Being a ex basketball coach here in Milwaukee at Juneau High School, and being a summer league at Riverside, that's one of the things that I found myself doing with some of the boys that I work with, teaching them how to breathe.
Yeah, the breathing exercises. Yeah.
And you go to the line. When you go to the line, have everything under control. Get your breath, and then focus on the spots on the floor, to see where the middle of the floor. And breathing is so important. There's techniques and strategies to breathing, and understanding how to regulate yourself at the time when you're getting angry, because anger is a healthy emotion.
I remember them kids. It's funny that you said that with the breathing and the young adults. I remember watching young adults, and now these young adults are kids are now young adults. And I remember watching them get upset, and they used to be doing that real strong huffing and puffing stuff, man. Like, and they'd be like the little young black boys, because that's where I was working with. And I used to be like, man, why you doing all that, man? And all you doing is making yourself, more upset with that. Like, what, so, and I think about that now. Just imagine how many lives you save just by teaching them the breathing exercises, that they doing now in their own space to keep themselves together in their own homes that they probably running. Yes. Yeah.
Anxiety, for example, is one of those emotions that causes a lot of stress in your life. When you see something that makes you afraid, it creates stressful moments. That's usually going to show through your breathing, and you have to learn how to regulate that. Anxiety is actually a healthy emotion. because it keeps you safe.
Mhm.
And when we understand that, we'll understand what we need to do to equip ourselves to in those anxiety moments. Box breathing is one of the things that I use to help myself when I have those anxiety moments. There was the Valdi shooting in Texas. I had heard this story of this man. I use this in some of my groups. This man heard that the teacher that was killed was his wife. He immediately went into an anxiety moment, had an anxiety moment. He got so much stress in his life at that moment. He heard that his wife was dead. He had a heart attack right in front of the children that they had together and died right in front of those.
Wow.
So can you imagine what the kids are still going through at this day?
Yeah.
So
I've heard of stories like that too.
Cortisol is dangerous.
Yeah.
When cortisol is
shock of it, a whole release of it, I heard. Yeah.
When cortisol is released in your body, you have to get it out of your body. You have to expel it out of your body. Those strategies, exercise and having somebody to talk to. I'm a therapist. Guess what? I have a therapist. And I go see her and I talk to her because I see and hear so much.
So can I ask you this? So by you being a therapist and the stuff that you hear and see, is it hard for you to release that type of stuff, or do you carry it with you, like the stuff that you hear and the issues and stuff from other people? Because I know for me, I play at funerals. So certain funerals, when I leave the funeral, it stays with me. Like it's on me heavy. Like if it's something, dealing with kids or, like a tragic situation that happened, that a person loses their life, that ends up staying with me. So how do you release it? By going to see your therapist?
Yeah, that's an interesting point that you bring up. Yes, I see a therapist. Okay. I talk to him to get strategies about how I should proceed.
Okay.
But then there's other strategies that I have in my life. I surround my proximity with people, and the church is one of those.
Yeah.
Companion plants. I don't know if we ever heard of companion planting before, but I'm gonna give one example. Tomatoes and basil. They're companion plants to each other. Now, tomatoes don't need basils to grow, but when they get to a point when they have the fruit, they not only need the stakes to hold up the plant, but the basil emits a fragrance that keeps away the predators and other varmints from coming to eat it. But then when you think about tomatoes and basil, when you bring them together, they make the best tomato sauce.
Man, you ain't lying about that.
That's good, man.
Man, that's real. I like that.
That's
one.
good.
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah, that's
and that's what our wives and our significant others are supposed to be. Our church is supposed to be like that. A stake holding us up, helping us to maintain that healthy fruit.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm gonna steal that.
I'm
gonna steal it, Jack.
It's going to be in my book that I got coming out. I have a book that I'm writing. I still got to connect with my pastors about it. We've been kind of passing up and missing opportunities. But my book is called The Passion of the Father, Why Men Suffer in Silence.
Yeah.
Wow, we could talk for a long time about that.
We can go all day about that one.
We talked about it before.
Well, this looks like we're gonna have you back, Reggie, because we need this information because we need the men to know, and we got a lot of black men that listen to this station and listen to this show that I've been listening to WNOV since I was a kid, so I know there's folks on here that raised me. Shout out to one that you already know that is listening right now, Mr. Terrence Adams. He's listening, so shout out Uncle T. He's definitely one of the ones. I just think it's important that we have these reminders and we hear that they hear a man who has did the work and who's vulnerable enough to share. It takes a lot. I've been through mine, which and it took me like I was never thought I was gonna have to be this vulnerable in life until my mom had passed, and then when my dad had passed, and they passed in tragic situations. So I had to be vulnerable and find a way to open up and share my story. And one way was when I wrote for an excerpt in a woman's book and just talked about it, and I named the chapter 13 days, but also just having like support, like, you know, my homie was just here, Dante, you know what I'm saying? He was one of my ones that you met that was here. My boy Steve, who live in Pittsburgh, shout out to Steve. You know, people that I had in my life, you know, that were there, that I was able to communicate with and was able to share those emotions, that has helped me grow as an adult, where I'm not, you know, where you know how I could be and what spaces I could be from what you've seen with the charts and how it aligns with other people's, you know, lives. It's just, I think the communication, the being vulnerable, the opening up over the years, not being so, I haven't been directly in a therapist sessions that much, but I feel like I've had so much great energy around and support around me over the years that, you know, has helped me to be in a space where I'm able to do the work to give back to the community, which is so important to me. So yeah, I just want to share that. Yeah, I just definitely want to share that. And I think that's important to have you come back on here and share more of that information. Yes, so well, we're gonna skip a few questions because I know we could go all day. Joe, you already know we could be on here.
Yeah, I think we have about 2 minutes.
It looks like it. About two or three. So community, just talk about some community and cultural impact. What's the significance of community-led healing, and how do you see the collaboration, or how would you see collaboration with local organizations and leaders? Like from your point of view, you know, you're in a space in the clinical's point, we got people in the community that's out here on the ground that do need the support, that do work with people that do need support. I do got another question for you before then, but if you could just share a little bit, how would you see that, how you see the collaboration with the two?
As a therapist, I'm always constantly rebuilding my resources, because a lot of times clients will come in and they may be suffering a crisis such as the loss of a job. What resources do I have in my network, my social networks, that I can connect them with? One of the ones that I use is Jobs Work MKE.
Okay.
I help them, I send them there, I'm one of their mentors there, and I connect them. It's volunteer. And I do that to connect them, to help them. And then I'll reach back out to other agencies. I'll go to court with some of my clients. I have a connection with some of the attorneys and the judges here from past experiences of doing some good work down at MATC.
Yeah.
So, and I utilize as much as I can in collaborating resources. I think a lot of times the therapists, we get out of that case management mode, thinking we're only supposed to just help them with, you can't get that true sense of building a rapport with somebody if you can't help supply a need or give them a resource.
Yeah, that's for real. Thank you for sharing. Going down to some of the, because we wrapping it up. For someone who's listening, it's two questions. Might be a two-part if you want to. For someone listening who may be silently struggling with addiction, what would you say to them right now? Just to any of the listeners, you know, just out there. And then looking ahead, what gives you hope about the future recovery and mental health support in our communities? And then that's the wrap up right there.
I look at the fact that right now we're dealing with a lot of fear of the unknown. Fear oftentimes will help you discover where you are and what you need to do to bring yourself safe. It's not the end all, because you have found yourself in an abyss, in a deep area. There's a lot of resources. I'm one of those resources. There's other people that can help. There's places to go to. You can't give up on where you are. I don't call my clients addicts. I tell them that they're in long-term recovery.
Okay.
I use that verbiage because it's very important. What you say about yourself is going to reflect who you are.
That's real. And look, how can I get in contact with you then? Real quick before you get up out of here. Any way to get in contact? Is there any way?
I'm actually on Psychology Today.
Okay.
My phone number is on there. Just remember, I'm transitioning to another place.
All right.
So if you call me through Psychology, you're gonna go right to my business line.
All right. Well, that's it. We're gonna wrap it up. Mr. Bell, sir, thanks for coming. It's a blessing to have you here. Appreciate you. Be Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices. We'll see y'all next week. We got some cool guests coming on next week. You should be excited about July 8th for sure. Y'all have a great rest of the week. God bless y'all. Be safe out there. Peace.
860